Be me, 30 years old as of last Tuesday. Actually 30, not 29 and 11 months, not basically 30, but legitimately 3 decades on this planet. Senior financial analyst at a mid-sized investment firm. Spent the last 8 years building a career that actually matters. Pulled myself through state school, CPA certification, climbed the ladder without compromising my principles. Every performance review mentions my analytical rigor and unwillingness to accept substandard work. Translate: I don't smile when men tell stupid jokes in meetings. Translate: I don't pretend their ideas are brilliant when they're obviously half-baked. Translate: I got here on merit, and everyone fucking knows it. Sitting at my desk this morning, same desk I've had for 3 years since the promotion, there's a coffee ring on my mouse pad that's been there so long it's practically a design feature. Checking my morning routine, emails, market reports, the group chat where my college friends and I discuss everything from tax policy to the latest Supreme Court oral arguments. Someone posted an article about workplace dress codes. Of course I have thoughts. Spend 10 minutes typing out a response about how professional standards are inherently gendered, how women are expected to perform femininity to be taken seriously, but then punished for the attention that performance attracts. Hit send, feel that familiar satisfaction of having articulated something important. This is what I do, this is who I am. I'm the one who points out the inconsistencies, the structural problems, the ways systems perpetuate themselves. Been doing this since sophomore year of college, when something just clicked during a political theory seminar. Realized that so much of what I'd accepted as natural was actually constructed, designed, maintained. Spent my 20s learning to see the patterns everywhere. The way professors called on male students first. The way my early bosses introduced me as our girl in the department. The way men in bars would interrupt my conversations, insert themselves into my space, act like my attention was something they'd already purchased just by existing near me. Learned to name it, confront it, refuse it. Became the person my friends called when they needed language for something they'd felt but couldn't express. Built an entire identity around seeing clearly, refusing bullshit, standing firm. Now it's 9:47 a.m. and I need my second coffee. There's a place 2 blocks from the office. One of those spots that's trying too hard with the Edison bulbs and reclaimed wood. But their espresso is legitimately good and the pastries aren't the usual corporate cafeteria garbage. I go there most days, have for the past year. Grab my wallet, head down. It's late April, finally warm enough that I'm not layering like I'm preparing for Arctic exploration. Wearing what I wear. Tailored pants, silk, shell, blazer that actually fits because I spent the money to have it altered. I dress for competence, not attention, but I'm not going to pretend I don't know what I look like. Personal trainer twice a week, yoga on Saturdays, skincare routine that costs more than I'd ever admit to my mother. I maintain myself because I choose to, because I deserve to inhabit a body that feels strong and healthy, not for anyone else, not for validation, for me. Walk into the coffee shop, usual morning crowd. Business people on laptops, students with textbooks, the neighborhood regulars who apparently have no jobs but can afford $4 cortados. Get in line behind a guy in a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. He's doing the thing where he's on his phone but keeps glancing around. Like he's expecting someone to notice him, to acknowledge his presence. I've seen this behavior 1,000,000 times, this performance of casual availability. Wait for my turn, aware of the space I'm occupying. The woman behind me breathing heavy like the wait is somehow a personal affront. The barista is new, some kid with an unfortunate attempt at a mustache. I order my usual double espresso with steamed oat milk, no sugar. He nods, doesn't smile, doesn't make eye contact, doesn't do that thing where his gaze catches for just a second. Just nods and writes on the cup. Fine, whatever, he's busy. Step aside to wait. Pull out my phone to check if the markets have done anything interesting in the last 20 minutes. That's when I notice. Or rather, that's when I notice that I'm not noticing something I should be noticing. The usual weight of awareness is missing. You know what I mean? If you're a woman, that feeling of being observed, that sixth sense of eyes on you. The thing I've spent years resenting, calling out, writing angry paragraphs about in every group chat and comment section, The male gaze, the objectification, the constant surveillance. It's not here. I look up from my phone, actually look around. The guy in the expensive suit is staring at a woman near the window, mid-20s maybe, wearing running clothes, ponytail, completely oblivious to his attention. She's doing that thing where she's pretending to read something on her phone, but you can tell she knows someone's looking. There's a guy at a laptop who keeps glancing at the barista, a woman, probably younger than me, with the kind of effortless beauty that suggests a complete lack of student loans or workplace anxiety. The heavy-breathing woman behind me is now in front of me, and the new barista is definitely making eye contact with her, definitely smiling. She's older than me, maybe, or maybe not, hard to tell, but she's doing the full performance. Hair clearly professionally done, makeup, the kind of outfit that suggests she thinks about these things. Get my coffee, leave, walk back to the office. The whole way I'm waiting for it. The thing that's happened on this walk probably 500 times in the last decade. Some guy making a comment, some cluster of construction workers with their predictable script, some runner doing a double take, some car slowing down. Nothing. People on their phones, people in their own worlds, people looking through me like I'm a lamppost or a parking meter. Pure urban anonymity. Exactly what I've always said I wanted. Exactly what I've argued is every woman's right to move through public space, unmolested, unobserved, free. Get back to my desk, log into the compliance database, start reviewing Q2 disclosures, can't focus, keep thinking about the coffee shop, about the walk, about the absence of something. Tell myself I'm being ridiculous. Tell myself this is internalized misogyny. This is the poison of a culture that taught me my value resides in male approval. Tell myself I should be grateful. Spend the next 3 hours barely processing the spreadsheets in front of me. Finally, it's lunch. Escape to the building's cafeteria. Sit alone, which is normal. I usually sit alone. I prefer it, actually, the quiet, the ability to read or think without performing social availability, except today I'm watching. There's a table of junior analysts, mixed gender, early 20s, still figuring out how to be professionals. The young women are doing that thing where they're simultaneously competent and decorative. The young men are doing that thing where they're pretending not to notice but absolutely noticing. Remember being that age. Remember my first real job. Remember the senior VP who always stood too close. Remember the client who said I should smile more, that I was too pretty to look so serious. Remember the rage, the crystalline, pure rage of being reduced to a body, to a face, to a fuckability index. Remember writing a 1,500-word screed about it, posting it, getting validation from hundreds of people who saw me, really saw me, understood what I was saying. That was maybe 4 years ago. I was 26. That VP got fired eventually, not because of me, but because he did the same shit to someone with better connections. Felt like a victory for about a day. Now, I'm watching these junior analysts and trying to remember when I last experienced that particular form of disrespect. Trying to remember the last time someone in this building looked at me in a way that made me feel like I needed to document it, report it, name it. Can't remember. At first, that feels like progress, like maybe I've reached a level of seniority where people take me seriously. But then I'm thinking about the new associate they hired last month. 24, fresh out of grad school, technically my supervisee on the Morrison account. She's brilliant, genuinely. Her quantitative modeling is better than mine. But I've watched how the partners interact with her. That particular quality of attention, that extra half second of eye contact. She doesn't even seem to notice. Or maybe she notices and doesn't care. Or maybe she's already learned to weaponize it the way I never could, never wanted to. Finish my salad, go back upstairs, accomplish essentially nothing all afternoon. Keep opening tabs, reading things, articles about women in leadership, studies about workplace dynamics, think pieces about visibility and power. None of it addresses what I'm feeling. None of it has language for this specific absence. Evening, finally, escape. Tell myself I'm going to the gym, which is true, but also I'm going because it's another public space. Another laboratory to test this theory I don't want to be having. The gym is in a converted warehouse, all concrete floors and floor-to-ceiling windows. I've been a member for 6 years, Outlasted 3 different ownership changes. Know the equipment, know the crowd, know exactly how to time my arrival to avoid the peak rush. Change into my workout clothes, the expensive technical fabrics that supposedly wick moisture and provide compression. Definitely not the oversized t-shirt and ancient shorts I wore in my early 20s. I learned to dress for the gym the same way I learned to dress for the office. Project competence, discourage commentary, start my usual routine, treadmill for 20 minutes to warm up. Position myself where I always do, middle of the row, good vantage point. Used to hate this part, used to feel so exposed. Every run in my 20s felt like a performance. Like the men in the weight section were rating me, scoring me. Got catcalled on a treadmill once. Can you believe that? Guy actually walked over mid-set to tell me I had good form. Complained to management, wrote about it online, got sympathy and solidarity. That was 3 years ago. Now I'm running, watching the mirrors, watching the room. There's a woman on the treadmill 3 down from me. Can't be older than 25. Wearing virtually nothing. Sports bra and tiny shorts. Body fat percentage that suggests she either has incredible genetics or a concerning relationship with food. She's not even pretty in a bill. Conventional way, but she's young, and that's its own form of beauty apparently. Watch as guy after guy finds a reason to be in her orbit. Adjusting weights nearby, taking the long route to the water fountain, just existing in her peripheral vision. She has her earbuds in, completely focused on her workout or pretending to be. I wonder if she knows. I wonder if she'll remember this feeling in 5 years when it starts to fade. Finish the treadmill, move to the weight section, do my programmed lifts. I'm strong, actually strong. Can deadlift more than most of the casual gym bros. Used to get comments about that too. The surprise that I could lift heavy. As if physical strength was surprising in a woman. As if I was doing it for show rather than because I wanted to be capable. Today, nothing. I could be lifting the entire rack and I don't think anyone would notice. Finish my workout, shower, change back into my work clothes. It's 7:30 p.m., still light out because of daylight. Savings. Decide to walk home instead of taking the train. Need to move, need to process. My apartment is 45 blocks north. Not a short walk, but doable. Put in my earbuds, but don't play anything. Want to stay alert. Start walking, up through the business district, through the edge of the theater area, into the neighborhoods that transition from commercial to residential. Past bars with outdoor seating, clusters of people in their 20s, that particular energy of youth and possibility. Past restaurants with couples on first dates, doing that dance of mutual evaluation. Past groups of men outside bodegas, doing whatever men do when they congregate on street corners. Nothing. No comments, no stares, no following, no hey baby or smile, or any of the shit I've trained myself to ignore, deflect, confront. Just nothing. I'm a ghost, a non-entity, invisible. This is what I wanted, I remind myself. This is literally what I've advocated for, what I've argued every woman deserves. The right to exist in public without being reduced to her body. The freedom from the male gaze. Liberation from objectification. So why does it feel like something has been taken from me? Why does it feel like a loss instead of a victory? Get home, my apartment, 1 bedroom in a pre-war building, rent-stabilized miracle I got through a friend of a friend 7 years ago. It's small, but it's mine. Decorated exactly how I want. Books everywhere, art I actually care about, furniture that prioritizes comfort over impression. Pour a glass of wine. Expensive stuff. I buy good wine now because I can. Sit on my couch, open my laptop, instinctively go to social media, scroll through my feed, see the usual discourse. Someone's posted about street harassment, about being followed home, about feeling unsafe. I start to type a supportive comment, something about solidarity, about structural misogyny. Delete it. What am I supposed to say? Yes, that's terrible, but also I'm devastated that it's not happening to me anymore. Yes, we should dismantle the male gaze, but also, I've apparently built my entire sense of self around being its object. Close the laptop, drink the wine too fast, pour another glass. Try to remember when this changed. It can't have been sudden, can't have been overnight, but it feels sudden. It feels like I went to sleep as one person and woke up as another. Except the only thing that changed was the calendar. 29 to 30. Arbitrary designation. cultural construct shouldn't matter, but it fucking matters. Get up, go to the bathroom, turn on all the lights, look at myself in the mirror, really look, the way I usually avoid looking. I look fine. I look good actually by any objective standard. Clear skin, good bone structure, no major signs of aging beyond some lines around my eyes that appear when I smile. I'm in better shape than I was at 25. Better hair, better style, better everything. So what changed? The only thing that changed is the number, 30, the threshold, the marker. Remember being 23, getting hit on by a guy who was probably 35. Remember thinking he was ancient, predatory, pathetic. Remember the disgust I felt at his attention, the way it seemed like a violation. Wrote about that too, about age gaps and power dynamics, and men who target younger women because women their own age won't tolerate their shit. Got a lot of engagement on that post. Now I'm thinking about that guy, whoever he was, wondering if he experienced this same transition, wondering if he woke up one day and realized he'd crossed some invisible line. Go back to the couch, pick up my phone, open the dating app I haven't looked at in 6 months. Last time I checked it, I was disgusted by the quality of matches, the obvious lies in profiles, the aggressive mediocrity of men who thought they deserved access to my time. Deleted my account in a fit of principled frustration. Now I'm creating a new one. Upload photos, recent ones, good ones, where I look confident and successful and attractive. Write a bio that's witty and intelligent and doesn't pander. Set my preferences. Age range 30 to 40, education level, location, all the filters. Submit. Wait for the algorithm to do its thing. 10 minutes later, I have matches. Start swiping. Start looking at the men who supposedly find me compatible. They're fine, mostly, in that completely unremarkable way. Divorced guys with kids. Never married guys who seem stunned they're not married. Obvious Peter Pans, who set their age range to 22 to 35, and I'm barely scraping in. Start messaging with one, a lawyer, seems normal enough. Small talk, professional chat, the usual interview process. He asks what I do for fun. I tell him about my work, about the satisfaction of solving complex financial puzzles. He stops responding. Try another, an architect, good photos, claims to love reading. We talk about books for a while, actually interesting. Conversation. He asks if I want to meet for drinks. I say yes, suggest a place, a wine bar I like in my neighborhood. He suggests somewhere in his neighborhood instead. Way downtown, says it's more fun. I recognize the place. It's where 25-year-olds go to get drunk and make mistakes. I say I'd prefer somewhere closer to me. He says maybe another time, and unmatches. Spend the next hour going through this same cycle. Match, message, small talk, some form of rejection. Either they lose interest or I lose interest, or we're just completely misaligned on what we want. Wonder if this is just how dating apps work now. Wonder if this is just how dating works at 30. Wonder if I missed some crucial window and didn't even know it. Close the app, finish the wine, consider opening another bottle. Don't, because I have work tomorrow, and I'm not going to spiral that hard. Instead, I do what I always do when I'm feeling destabilized. I research, start reading studies about attractiveness and age. Find the data I already knew existed, the charts showing how men rate women, the peak at 23, the steady decline, the precipitous drop after 30. Find the inverse charts for women rating men, how it peaks later, stays steadier. Read think pieces about evolutionary psychology, about fertility signals, about biological imperatives. Read rebuttals about cultural construction, about media representation, about the patriarchal devaluation of older women. I've read all this before. I know all this already. But before it was academic, theoretical, something to be angry about in the abstract. Now it's personal. Now it's my life. Now I'm the data point. Try to sleep, can't sleep, lie in bed thinking about every interaction I've had in the last week, the meeting where the partner addressed most of his questions to my younger colleague. The happy hour I skipped because no one seemed particularly invested in whether I attended. The elevator ride where the guy didn't do that thing where he holds the door, just let it close. Telling myself I'm imagining patterns, seeing what I want to see. Telling myself this is confirmation bias, that I've decided something is true, and now I'm finding evidence everywhere. but the evidence is everywhere. Finally fall asleep sometime after 2, wake up exhausted when my alarm goes off at 6. Friday morning, end of the week, supposed to be a good thing. Shower, dress, the usual routine, except I'm looking at my clothes differently. Usually I pick based on what meetings I have, what impression I need to project. Today I'm thinking about something else. Pull out a dress I haven't worn in over a year, bought it on a whim, too tight, too young, kept it anyway for some reason. Put it on, look in the mirror. It fits, still fits. I haven't gained weight, but it looks wrong. Looks like I'm trying too hard, like I don't know who I am. Take it off, put on my usual uniform, feel like I'm putting on armor, or maybe a disguise, or maybe an invisibility cloak. Coffee shop again, different barista, same lack of interaction. Office again, same desk, same work, same crushing inability to focus. Spend the morning refreshing the same spreadsheet, accomplishing nothing. My colleague, the 24-year-old, stops by my desk around 10. Asks if I can review her modeling for the Peterson account. I say, of course, tell her to send it over. She hovers for a moment, then asks if I'm okay. I say I'm fine, just tired, didn't sleep well. She nods sympathetically, says she totally gets it. She's been so stressed about the CPA exam. The CPA exam I took 7 years ago. She's stressed about becoming what I already am. And in her stress, she still has that quality, that glow, or whatever it is. That thing that makes people want to help her, accommodate her, make space for her, tell her the modeling looks good, just needs some minor adjustments on the risk calculations. She thanks me, calls me a lifesaver, leaves, sit there wondering when I became the kind of person who gets called a lifesaver for doing my basic job, wondering when I became useful instead of interesting. Lunch. I skip it, not hungry. Spend the time walking around the neighborhood, observing. There's a construction site where there's always been a construction site, different building, same workers. Used to cross the street to avoid walking past. Used to time my route to minimize exposure. Today I walk right past, earbuds out, head up. Nothing. They're eating sandwiches, talking among themselves, completely indifferent to my existence. Feel a weird surge of anger about it. Want to stop, want to confront them, want to demand why they're not harassing me, realize how insane that sounds. Keep walking. Pass a bar with outdoor seating, Friday lunch crowd, people drinking too early. There's a group of men in finance bro uniforms, rolled sleeves, loud voices. They're watching women walk by, commenting to each other, that thing they do. I slow down, actually slow down, make myself available for their attention. They don't even pause their conversation. Their eyes track a woman behind me, someone younger, someone who exists in their field of vision. I'm not even a blip. Get back to the office, lock myself in a bathroom stall, try not to cry. This is ridiculous, I tell myself. This is exactly the brainwashing I've spent years fighting. This is internalized misogyny in its purest form. I should be grateful. I should be celebrating. I should be free. But I don't feel free. I feel erased. Compose myself. Go back to my desk. Actually try to work. Manage to accomplish maybe 2 hours of actual productivity before the day ends. Friday evening, my friends want to get drinks. The group from college, the ones I actually like, the ones who share my politics and my frustrations. We're meeting at a place in Brooklyn, somewhere none of us would have been caught dead in 5 years ago, but now it's been gentrified into acceptability. Take the train, arrive early, order a drink at the bar while I wait. The bartender is efficient, professional, makes my drink without commentary. I'm standing at the bar, holding my glass, watching the door for my friends. Guy next to me orders a beer, starts chatting with the bartender about sports. Doesn't acknowledge me. Doesn't seem to register that I'm a person who exists in space. My friends arrive. 3 of them. We claim a table in the back. Sarah, who's in marketing. Jessica, who's a physical therapist. Amanda, who does something in tech I've never fully understood. We're all around the same age, give or take a year. We do this every few weeks. Decompress, complain, solve the world's problems over overpriced cocktails. Tonight they're talking about work drama, dating disasters, the usual. I'm trying to participate, trying to be present, but I keep getting distracted. There's a table of younger women next to us. mid-20s, celebrating something. They're loud, energetic, taking photos, existing in that unself-conscious way. Men keep approaching their table, offering to buy drinks, asking to join them, shooting their shots. The women are gracious, dismissive, enjoying the attention while pretending not to. We used to be those women. We used to be the ones getting approached, the ones with the power of refusal. Now we're the table men walk past to get to the better option. Sarah is talking about a guy she matched with who turned out to be married. Jessica is complaining about her boss, who keeps undermining her in meetings. Amanda is describing some product launch disaster. They ask me how I'm doing. I say fine, work is busy, the usual. Don't mention the coffee shop or the construction site or the bar. Don't mention that I've spent the last week having an existential crisis about my visibility. Don't mention that I'm sitting here watching younger women receive the attention I claimed I never wanted. Because how do I say that without sounding like I've betrayed everything I claim to believe? How do I admit that I miss being objectified? That I miss being reduced to my body? That I miss the thing I built my entire political identity around rejecting? Can't, so I don't. We drink, we talk, we pay the check, and split it exactly evenly. Hug, goodbye, promise to do this again soon, head home separately. On the train, I'm scrolling through social media again to see a post from an acquaintance, someone I knew in college but not well. She's 28, getting married, posting photos of her ring, her fiancé, her perfect life, comments full of congratulations, celebration, joy. Feel a spike of something ugly. Not jealousy exactly. I don't even want to be married. But something about the timeline, the progression, the way she's hit the markers at the right time. Remember being 28, 2 years ago. Remember thinking I had infinite time, infinite options. Remember feeling like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Now I'm 30, and I feel like I missed a deadline I didn't know existed. Get home, pour wine, sit on my couch, open my laptop, start writing. Not a post, not for public consumption, just writing to process. Write about the coffee shop, the construction site, the bar. Write about the attention I spent my 20s resenting. Write about the absence I'm spending my 30s mourning. Write about the hypocrisy, the contradiction, the complete mindfuck of it all. Write for an hour, 2 hours, until I've filled pages with this circular logic. Read it back. Recognize that I sound completely unhinged. Also recognize that I'm being more honest than I've been in years. The thing I can't escape, I built my identity around being seen. Not just seen, but seen clearly. Seen as I wanted to be seen. Spent years insisting that I wanted to be valued for my mind, my work, my contributions. But I wanted that recognition while still being acknowledged as a woman, as a body, as desirable. Wanted to be taken seriously, and wanted to be wanted. Wanted to reject male attention while knowing it was available to reject. Wanted the power of refusal without the pain of being refused. And now the choice has been taken away. Now I'm not refusing attention. I'm being refused. Not being objectified. I'm being overlooked. Not being seen incorrectly. I'm not being seen at all. And it turns out that feels worse. It turns out I don't know who I am without that reflection. Even if the reflection was distorted, even if I hated what I saw in it, at least I saw something. At least I existed in someone's field of vision. Close the laptop, finish the wine, go to bed. Lie there thinking about Monday, about going back to the office, about continuing this performance of professional competence, wondering how long I can maintain it, wondering if anyone would notice if I stopped. Saturday morning, wake up with a headache, not quite a hangover but close. No plans, nowhere to be, the weekend stretching out empty. Usually, I love this, the unstructured time, the freedom. Today it feels oppressive. Force myself to go to yoga, the Saturday morning class I've been attending for 3 years. Same studio, same instructor, same general population of people. Set up my mat in the back corner where I always do. Class fills up, I'm watching people arrive. There's a new woman, late 20s probably, setting up in the front row. The instructor makes a point of welcoming her, learning her name, making sure she knows the studio culture. Doesn't acknowledge me, Doesn't seem to remember that I've been coming here for years. We start the flow, and I'm trying to focus on my breath, on the movements. But I'm watching this new woman in the mirror. She's flexible, but not too flexible. Present, but not showy. Doing that thing where she seems completely unaware of how she looks. The instructor keeps using her as the example, keeps adjusting her form with gentle touches. Halfway through class, I realize I'm not doing yoga anymore. I'm just observing, just watching this woman receive the attention and instruction I used to receive, wondering when I became part of the background. Leave class early. Don't stay for savasana. Just roll up my mat and go. The instructor doesn't notice. Spend the rest of the day doing nothing productive. Online shopping for clothes I don't need. Reading articles I don't retain. Moving around my apartment like a ghost. Sunday is worse. Wake up with this heavy feeling. This dread that has no specific object. This is what depression feels like, I think. Not sadness exactly, just absence. Absence of energy, of purpose, of forward momentum. Lie in bed until noon. Finally force myself up. Shower, dress, decide I need to get out, need to be around people. Go to a museum, one of the big ones, the kind that's always crowded. Pay my admission, wander through the galleries. It's packed with tourists, families, couples, clusters of art students sketching. I'm alone, which is normal for me, I prefer. Experiencing art alone. Except today, I'm noticing all the couples, noticing how they move through space together, how they create their own bubble. There's a couple in front of a Rothko, early 30s maybe, having an intense discussion about color theory. The woman is pretty, in an unconventional way, wearing vintage clothes, very deliberate aesthetic. The man is looking at her more than the painting. I remember that, being looked at like that. Remember the handful of relationships I've had, the brief, intense ones that burned out. Remember choosing to end them because they weren't quite right, because I wasn't going to settle. Remember feeling like I had unlimited chances, unlimited opportunities to get it right. Now I'm standing in front of a Rothko alone, wondering if I should have settled. Wondering if the perfect was always the enemy of the good. Move through more galleries, impressionists, modernists, contemporary. In the contemporary wing, there's a video installation about female identity and the male gaze. Of course there is. It's a multi-screen piece, women of different ages being filmed going about their daily routines. The artist's statement talks about visibility, objectification, the burden of being watched. I stand there for 20 minutes watching these women who are being watched. The piece is supposed to be critical, supposed to make you uncomfortable with the act of looking. But all I can think is, at least they're being watched. At least someone thought they were worth filming. At least they exist in someone's frame. Leave the museum, walk home through the park. It's a beautiful day, unseasonably warm, everyone is outside. Families with kids, teenagers on skateboards, couples on blankets, joggers, cyclists, the whole ecosystem of urban life. I used to love people watching, used to find it energizing. Now I'm watching people not watch me. Now I'm hyper-aware of every gaze that slides past, every set of eyes that finds nothing worth pausing for. Get home, order takeout, eat it without tasting it, open my laptop again, look at what I wrote Friday night. It's raw, honest, probably the most truthful thing I've written in years, also completely unpublishable. Can you imagine? Can you imagine posting this, putting it out into the world? The responses I'd get from other women like me. Internalized misogyny, patriarchal brainwashing, you need therapy. The responses from men. Validation of every sexist belief about aging women, about female expiration dates, about our value being tied to fertility. The responses from younger women. Smug satisfaction that they're not there yet, false sympathy, secret relief. No one wants to hear this. No one wants to acknowledge that we can be feminists and still be human. That we can believe in equality and still grieve what we've lost. That we can know something is wrong and still want it. Close the laptop again. Don't delete it. Just close it. Monday morning, back to work, back to the routine. Except something has shifted, some internal calibration. Walk into the office, and I realize I'm moving differently. Not consciously, not deliberately, but differently. Taking up less space, making less noise, fading into the background, get to my desk, See an email from my boss. He wants to meet this afternoon. Discuss my role on some upcoming projects. Normal enough, happens periodically, but there's something in the tone, something perfunctory. The meeting is at 3. I spend the day preparing without knowing what I'm preparing for. 3 o'clock. Go to his office. He's cordial, professional. Talks about the firm's direction, about restructuring, about efficiency. Says they're moving me off the Morrison account, giving it to my younger colleague. Says my expertise would be better utilized in a senior advisory capacity. Translate, they're sidelining me. Translate, they're making room for someone younger, cheaper, more appealing to clients. Translate, I'm becoming obsolete. I should argue, should advocate for myself, should point out my track record, but I just nod, say I understand, ask about the transition timeline. He seems relieved that I'm not fighting it. We shake hands. I leave, go back to my desk, sit there for the rest of the day, not working, not thinking, just sitting. 5:30. People start leaving. The office empties out. I stay until 7, until I'm one of the last people here. Finally pack up, head out, take the train home. On the train, I'm surrounded by the Monday evening crowd. Everyone exhausted, everyone in their own world. There's a guy across from me, probably my age, maybe a little older. He's reading a book, something literary, the kind of thing I would have used as an opening to start a conversation 5 years ago. Now I just watch him, not watching me. Watch him be completely absorbed in his book, in his thoughts, in anything but the woman sitting across from him. Get home. Don't pour wine. Don't open my laptop. Don't do anything. Just sit on my couch in the dark, letting time pass. My phone buzzes. It's the group chat. Amanda posted something about an article she read, asking if we saw it. It's about workplace discrimination against women over 30. The irony is so thick I almost laugh. They're all chiming in with outrage, with solidarity, with calls to action. I type out a response, something supportive, something appropriate, hit send, put my phone down, sit there thinking about what I want to say but can't. Want to say, yes, it's discrimination, but also it's reality. Want to say, yes, we should fight it, but also I'm so fucking tired. I want to say, yes, I know my value isn't determined by male attention, but then why does this hurt so much? I want to say, I spent my 20s building armor against objectification, and now that armor is all I am. Want to say, I don't know who I am without being perceived. Want to say, I'm scared, but I don't say any of that. Just sit in the dark, alone, invisible, free, exactly like I always said I wanted to be.